All right, greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. What's going on, people? How are you? Trying to get the green screen to act right, but good to see you. Thanks for being here. Oh, Malcolm. Yeah, I think a lot of people might be waiting for that, but man, do I not. Nobody really wants to see that, I don't think. They're already making a bit of a mess over there. What's up, William on Substack? We got some people on Odyssey. Or we did. We did, but where did you go? Yeah. Heavy suppression as always. So, like it up. Like up the video if you can. They just really don't want me getting any viewers. I've switched to tea for the day. Just trying to keep myself, from spinning out. Well, yeah, there's a war on. And it's making everybody nervous. making the economy nervous, making the stock market nervous. I'm sure the climate is in there too, but nobody cares about the climate because the climate doesn't have a voice, not a verbal voice. It is also making noise if you know where to look and know how to pay attention. But few are in that elite group. Iran is doing too well. I mean, this is what I hear. Um, they're still in the game. They're not Iraq, right? We're not rolling to the capital, and I mean, apparently we took out their leader, so that's something. It's not something good. Don't get me wrong. I keep seeing pictures of missiles hitting Tel Aviv and other places. They are, they're really trying to suppress this kind of stuff. Suppress any and all news of uh, Tehran doing well. War crimes, yeah. I'm convinced that 99% of the politics are mere symptoms and anything but a cure for social evils. Yeah. I agree with you. Yeah, good quote. Climate go boom this year, says Malcolm. I fear as much as well. I fear that, the people in charge know how bad things are about to get with the climate just spinning out of control. So maybe they have a lot less fear in ruining things, destroying everything, because they're like, well, we don't have much to lose. Excuse me. Um, well, let's get into a few things. Well, let me. I guess I was going to show you all this. No, not this part. It all makes sense if some are playing King of the Hill on a dying planet. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and there's nothing more dangerous than a man with nothing left to lose, or an empire with nothing left to lose. Here's again, everything has to be taken with some kind of grain of salt, some heavy skepticism, but this is missiles hitting Tel Aviv. Iran is also taking out other infrastructure around the Middle East as well. So they seem well supplied. It seems like they've got stockpiles of some pretty, operative uh, artillery. We're live on all the channels. Sorry about the picture on Odyssey. It looks not great, but that's what we're doing on Odyssey. I don't know how the picture looks on YouTube. We working with what we working with. Oi, oi, oi. I'm a little bit tired, I guess. Yeah, picture looks terrible on Odyssey. Sorry about that. At least over on my Odyssey. Maybe it looks better for you. Hold on. Here's Professor Zhang. I guess they hit Dubai. And let's see. It's all been a mirage. He's talking about Dubai. They spent a lot of money creating this image of itself as a safe and secure place where you don't pay taxes, right? Dubai is this, the playground of the wealthy. I mean, if the mirage is that it was a safe place where you could make a lot of money and pay no taxes, if that was the only mirage, I think maybe he missed something in the equation there. Maybe the fact building there are several now, massive city in the desert. Wouldn't be problematic if there were any kind of supply chain disruptions and or water disruptions. It's all been a mirage. They spent a lot of money creating the image of itself as a safe and secure place where you don't pay taxes and you can make a lot of money. So you put your money there. Guess what? Just one ballistic missile has destroyed this mirage. And once the mirage is destroyed, it's never coming back. We can expect billions of dollars to flee the GCC, especially the UAE, over the next few weeks.
So these are not real societies. And so it's all been a mirage. So, they spend a lot of money creating this image of themselves as safe and secure places where, you don't pay taxes and you can make a lot of money. So put all your money here, and people work.
That's actually not true, Creative. He did not. He didn't predict that Trump wouldn't invade. At least not that I've seen. Maybe I missed a video there. I feel like he was the one who said he was going to invade, which is why he's everywhere right now.
Are putting their money in Dubai. But guess what? Just one drone, one ballistic missile has destroyed this mirage, and once this mirage is destroyed, it's never coming back. So we can expect billions and billions of dollars to flee the GCC, especially the UAE, over the next few weeks.
And is this a paid marketing campaign? I'm sure you've seen these info. Could we expect that they're trying to do damage control?
Yeah, they are. And honestly, these influencers also have property in Dubai, right?
Yeah.
So it's in their best interest to maintain the image that Dubai is still vibrant. But look, once a mirage is punctured, you can't see it again. Okay, so I mean, it's done. I don't see a future here.
Well, also Zhang is, I mean, he does seem to be pretty good at marketing himself, and his videos have really taken off for whatever reason. I think he was on a few of the history channels on like TikTok and Instagram, and people rather liked what he had to say, and he understood that people liked what he had to say, and then jumped in with his own marketing. However, that being said, I will say it is always interesting to me when somebody starts blowing up. I'm always immediately skeptical of why they're blowing up, a la Ian Carroll. I don't know that I believe that everybody who goes viral or blows up is. I don't necessarily believe immediately that there are psyopy or somehow involved in the psyop. But if you don't actually think, if you don't let that cross your mind about somebody, I think that also would be a foolish as well, because it's really hard to blow up these days. Like if they really don't want your message getting out, it is really hard to blow up. It's really hard. People get squashed. So I feel like if you are blowing up, or if you're getting through the algorithm, some part of my brain says they're allowing that to happen. I don't know. Creative says, I predicted Trump would invade Venezuela. Professor Zhang said Maduro would strike a deal with Trump. He's like a recovering Canadian. Danny Haifong has had him on for a while. Yeah, I don't know. I've saw maybe 1 or 2 videos of him last year saying basically what is happening now, that Trump was going to secure the oil from Venezuela before striking Iran. I feel like I saw a video of him saying all of this was going to happen previous to it happening, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, when people blow up, I wonder why, but I suppose there are some organic algorithms out there that people can, jump on, but I don't know. But it's scary what's happening. It's bad. It's we don't know how bad it's going to get. We don't know how wild and crazy these cats are going to go. And a lot of people are not, I think, not just scared, but very much not supportive of what is going on right now. Zalipa, hot topics right now. Yeah, sure. 4 or 5% recession added for months for sure. Yeah. Yep. Oh, it's energy prices are spiking over the last week, and that is gonna have a cumulative effect across the board. And I feel like if the economy is teetering on the brink and has been teetering on the brink, has been very fragile. Debt is ballooning, and again, all of this could be engineered. This could be something that they really want to have happen. Maybe this is, maybe this is all in the plans, not part of God's plans, but in their plans. And they're just calling it God's plan because they don't have anything better to say about it, right? They don't actually have any concrete, realistic intelligence on what's going on. They're like, well, we'll just call it God's plan. He's now predicting Israel will win the war. He's predicting that. No, well, I don't know. Okay, this is what I can gather from what he's predicting. Creative is that actually the U.S. will get its ass kicked. I don't think he's saying that Israel will win the war, but they will be the recipients of the vacuum of power there. What doesn't make sense to me is that, what he's saying is that the war will kind of will get the U.S. kicked out of the region, will probably obliterate Iran's prominence in the area, destroying, a lot of both nations, and that Israel will just be the de facto winner. I don't know. Kind of what I'm gathering. Okay, Nick Cruz, U.S. cities are falling apart. Homeless population is booming. All of this true. U.S. infrastructure is complete shit. The job market is shit. Record amount of working class Americans are in debt. Income inequality reached record highs. We are governed by a bunch of psychotic pedophiles obsessed with war and murdering children. Anger at the establishment is the only valid form of patriotism. This is absolutely true. Anger at supporting or serving this current government is outright treasonous behavior. Yeah, sure. Fuck the troops. Death to America. Wow, he went hard on the end at the end there. But you have to actually, at some point, doing your job is not a valid excuse. just like, right, there was a time when people tried that with, yes, in the German army during World War II, yeah, people were conscripted. You didn't really have a lot of choice. You do now, though, in the U.S. Army. I guess once you're in, I don't know, it might be hard to get out right now. But you could say that about being an ICE agent or anything, a police officer, anything. If you're supporting the current power structure, like you're supporting unconstitutional and treasonous acts. So the law certainly, if taken seriously or to the letter, does not support your claim of just doing your job. Like at some point, and on a moral level, right, you're not doing the right thing. Malcolm says, no water too hot to survive. They're all uninhabitable in 30 years. That, I think that's closer to the truth. Here is this is a Iranian general, I guess. It's hard to imagine U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth ever managing such a calm and intellectually coherent explanation of strategy. Maybe they'll tell us who this is.
آخری که روز پنجم انجام دادن گفتم ما از قله عبور کردیم، سرازیر شدیم.
بله.
الان موقع سرازیری ماست. دیدید همین دیشب
کار بر ما آسان شده.
در تل‌آویو چی شده؟
بله.
یعنی ما چون رادارها رو زدیم، زیرساخت‌ها رو زدیم، امروز واقعا آقای ترامپ و نتانیاهو در یک قتلگاهی در خلیج فارس گرفتار شدن و روزها و هفته‌های آینده خبرهای بسیار خوشحالتری خدمت ملت عزیز ایران داده خواهد شد. ببینید اشتباه بزرگی که اینا کردن این بود که اینا اومدن یه جنگ کوتاه مدت رو طراحی کردن ولی متوجه نشدن ممکنه این دراز مدت بشه. حتی بزرگترین قدرت‌های بین‌الملل اگر در طراحی اولیه‌شون یه جنگ کوتاه مدت طراحی بکنن ولی در وسط راه تبدیل به جنگ دراز مدت باشن، هر اندازه قدرت داشته باشن شکست می‌خورن. چرا؟ چون جنگ‌های کوتاه مدت از طراحی خاصی برخورداره، لوجستیک محدودی میخواد، آمادگی‌های محدودی میخواد. جنگ دراز مدت لوجستیک فراوانی میخواد، طراحی‌های فراوانی میخواد، پیامدهای زیادی رو باید ببینن. اینا فکر میکردن در 48 ساعت کار جمهوری اسلامی تمام میشه. اول یک ناو هواپیما برآورده بودن، بعد این اواخر گفتن حالا برای احتیاط ما یک ناو دیگه هم ببریم. ولی الان میگن ما هر چه ناو داریم از هر جای عالم هست باید بیاریم تا بلکه بتونیم از عهده این کار بر بیاد. خود همین ناو فورد که الان اومده سمت مدیترانه، این الان مرخصیش نوبت مرخصیشونه. 5-6 هزار نفر هستن، میگن ما باید بریم مرخصی، چون تو مدتی که در ونزوئلا بودن اونجا مأموریتشون تمام شده بود، بهشون گفته بودن شما 48 ساعت میرید برمیگردید. بعد این ناوها معمولا هر 6 ماه یه بار باید تعمیرات بشن، باید بار مهمات بهشون اضافه بشه و خیلی کارها باید صورت بگیره. اینا 48 ساعت اومدن. حالا اگه بخوان دراز مدت بمونن، از خستگی نیروها گرفته، کمبود مهمات گرفته، مشکلات دیگری بارشون میشه. ثانیاً اینا فکر نمی‌کردن جنگ دراز مدت میشه، فکر نمی‌کردن مثلا قیمت نفت از $80 بره بالا. این از 110 تا که رفته بالا، شما منتظر نفت $120 و $150 طی روزهای آینده
150 نزدیک میشیم.
بله. خب این یعنی چی؟ یعنی کل اقتصاد جهان فرو میریزه. اگر اقتصاد جهان فرو میریزه، دنیا اجازه میده که ترامپ به جنگجویی ادامه بده یا کشورهای منطقه اجازه میدن این به جنگ طلبی خودش ادامه بده.
I mean, that's he's calling it really well. Basically he's saying that the U.S. is spreading itself too thin, trying to go full imperial. right now, right? Trying to take on like everybody and everything. Again, if this is on purpose to generate some kind of global economic collapse to further embolden people to, well, we got to take control, right? Things are spinning out of control, we got to take control. Right? Like, it's kind of the idea that if they cause enough chaos in the United States, cause civil war conditions, that then that will give them an excuse for martial law or whatever. And all of these things certainly could be at play. Here's Aaron Day. Pull everything out of all banks and all brokerages. Fuck them before they fuck you. You can thank me later. Jim Ferguson, breaking cracks appearing in the financial giants. This is I was listening to something about this yesterday. So I think it was over the last couple of days, BlackRock and Oracle and some other companies are actually really like on the ropes. Again, though, Oracle and BlackRock and all of these countries have very, close ties, financial ties with the U.S. government or the U.S. intelligence agencies or whatever. Like, are they going to be actually allowed to go under or go broke or run out of money? Probably not. Probably not. Good reminder, creative. Get your bus pass. And I was just talking about that. If you wake up tomorrow and gas is $10 a gallon at the pump, how many people are going to keep driving their cars? How many people are going to be getting on the bus and the train real quick, right? You're going to see the buses and the trains packed out, right? Because people are like, hell no, I'm not driving $10 gas. Hell no. Let's listen to this.
For the first time from one of its flagship private credit funds. Withdrawals requests from the firm's $26 billion HPS corporate lending fund totaled $1.2 billion in the first quarter. That is more than 9% of the fund's net asset value. This is the first time in the fund's 4-year history that withdrawal requests topped 5%. BlackRock said it would pay out $620 million as part of the quarterly redemption, the 5% threshold at which managers can restrict withdrawals. Look, no one's calling a crisis in this area yet. It is just very interesting that an area of the market which was so unbelievably hot the last couple of years, and of which people have come through this desk and said to Karen and I, oh, the private market is great. It's great for retail investors. It's great for professional investors. It's amazing the opportunities it will unlock. Where I have to say the question being asked by this desk for those last 2 years was this an area that was starved of capital in the first place? And what is in it for the retail investor when there are so many professionals who know their way around private markets way better than they do as well? But interesting, we're seeing redemptions at more than one fund now potentially building up as well. And as I say, there's been a couple of issues in the private credit market. No one's calling a broader crisis, but it is fascinating looking at this juxtaposed to other things that are going on in the market.
It's those issues.
I'm surprised that the meltdown, something is buoying up the stock market. And obviously something is suppressing the metals market. You have all the other commodities shooting through the roof, right? Oil and everything else tied to it. And you should see metals, booming. You should. But they are working overtime to keep the metals suppressed, or just short that market, as much as they can. Jay Gibbons, something happened just now. I don't know what, but the stock market just jumped up 1%. Really? Who knows, man? I don't know. It's hard. Yeah, I see you. Yeah, I see that. It's who knows what happened here, because it's continuing to boom. What's Bitcoin doing? Fake out. That's what Bitcoin's doing. It could just be, this could actually, I wouldn't Yeah, it just jumped up 1% to what? To I'd call this a really good fake because I'd be very wary of this. I mean, you had the market opening down yesterday and just, sliding down real hard. Who knows? Who knows? I'd be very wary of this, but too bad, if you were in before that, probably pretty good for you. I don't trust this thing with a 10-foot pole. And an 11-foot pole, maybe. Anybody ever watch Felix the Cat? Oh, Trump said the war would be over soon. Oh, is that why? It's a bear market. Forget swings happen in bear markets. Seconds rally. Yeah. What's the other word for it? I don't know. Due to spike, fake out, juke. I wouldn't trust that shit. Again, if you were in before, good for you. Maybe it'll spike up a bit more, but I kind of doubt it. I think it's ready to go slam on down, probably for the rest of the week. But who knows? Who knows? All right. Another good video about the fact that we can't afford, supposedly, anything that is for the people, but we can afford war. This is a great video. We're introducing a bill to cut Social Security, and they're just marking how much money it costs to shoot whatever rocket. There's $1 million. There's $1 million bucks. There's $1 million bucks. A better world is possible. Universal health care would be too expensive. There's $1 million. Yeah. Got money for war, no money for the poor. Let's see. Here's a Jessica Wildfire. I'm starting to hear reports of major escalation in the war with Iran, and it's going to hit supply chains hard. Don't wait for the panic buying to start. Come up with a plan. Include family, friends, neighbors. Indeed. I think this is a very, very relevant point. Make, be prepared for some very serious oil / food shocks. If you can. If even for a couple weeks, get you some rice and some beans. Get some, if you got a camping stove to cook on, get some extra propane or whatever it is you need. Candles, stuff like that. Just in case, things really unravel. Because we don't know. Okay. Who supports the U.S.-Israeli attack on Iran? Well, obviously, I think this is way out of whack. I think they're saying 60% disapprove in the U.S. That's not even. Nope. I would say it's more like 90%. Where they get 40%, 40% approve from, I don't know. Bullshit. I call bullshit on that. Somebody says I'm disgusted by the 36 plus 10%, half of us. Yeah, that's the thing is I think that's intended to create some as usual, create more disharmony among the masses when they really know it's 90% and everybody would be rallying around the night. Hell no, we shouldn't go. Like, right? It should be, if it was 90%, everybody would be like, yeah, what my neighbor said. We all do, right? They want to make it seem like, oh, it's 50-50. No, it ain't no 50-50. That's a lie. But if the Israeli side is to be believed, then they're all just a bunch of psychopaths. But that's not new. That shouldn't surprise you. But maybe that's fault. Maybe that's fake too. Maybe those are fake numbers too. Maybe it's, maybe there's way less Israelis supporting the war. And I would tend to believe that there's probably less support than they want you to know if you're in Israel. Here's some more strike footage. Tel Aviv is now witnessing the kind of strikes Muslims have suffered for decades. They dreamed of a world without Palestine. Now the world may see a future without Israel. Well, Denver says nobody supports war, even the people that profit from it. The crowd supports myopically profiting while denying the consequences. Yeah. I mean, Trump's campaign platform was getting out of wars. No more wars. So MAGA is not a war, happy group. I'm sure there are a few people that are like, I support whatever Trump says because I am a Dumbo. But I'm sure there's a bunch of people like that. But Matt, he's losing his whole base. He hasn't delivered on any campaign promises. And one of the biggest promises was no more wars, getting out of Ukraine, stopping all this stuff. Even, he was even promising the thing in Gaza to be over. And now look at this. Now it's just war. I don't know who supports this. I don't think these numbers are correct. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Yeah, well, it's still going up. Still going up. That is a spike. Hold on. Guys, if you like the show, if you want to support the show, there's lots of ways to support the show. I need your support in order to keep this show going. A bunch of links in the description box of whatever channel you're watching on. All the usuals are there: Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, Zelle, Buy Me a Coffee, Ko-Fi. You can support on Patreon, Substack, etc. Invest in good shoes, says Creative. I'm waiting for the slam all the way down. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the yeah. This is a nice little spike, but I'm waiting for the red, big fat red candle all the way down, which I'm betting is coming really soon. All right. Oh, so here is more. Well, here's some What they're doing to the climate, to the people, is horrific. The children breathing this air today will develop cancers 10, 20, 30 years from now. Nobody will connect it. Nobody will pay for their treatment. Nobody will be held accountable. When petroleum burns, it releases sulfur oxides, nitrogen oxides, and toxic hydrocarbons into the air. When those chemicals mix with rain, they become sulfuric acid, acid rain, and nitric acid. The rain causes chemical burns to the skin and serious damage to the lungs. It's a chemical attack using oil as the weapon. When Saddam burned oil wells in Kuwait in 1991, U.S. veterans developed Gulf War syndrome. Chronic pain, neurological damage, cancer. 30 years later, they're still dying from it. That was in the desert. This is inside a city of 10 million. And he's retweeting power to the people. The people of Tehran woke up to toxic acid rain after the U.S. and Israel bombed oil storage facilities. 10 million people exposed to a serious environmental hazard that caused chemical burns to the skin and damage to the lungs because of war crimes committed by pedophiles. Max Blumenthal, Trump tells Israeli media that he will not end the war on Iran without Israeli consent. My God. He also boasts that we've destroyed a country that wanted to destroy Israel. What? They got some stuff on you, don't they? The Epstein files really should just be called the Israeli Mossad blackmail files. Because that's basically what it is. This is our first Jewish president. It's true. It's true.
And I said, this is our first Jewish president. Now he's the first Jewish president.
Well, yeah. Oh boy. Going back to price of gas and pretty much everything in the near future. It's like he doesn't know all the stuff that's already been released. I know, but it's also like nobody's going to go down for that. It's almost like nobody's going to be held accountable, which is even more infuriating. From a purely political point of view, Trump has already lost the war, says Max Blumenthal. But this is everybody's posting this video today showing the I don't know, the 4 a.m. CIA talking points that were given out to all the stations.
This is a short-term disruption for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term pain be for long-term gain.
We're going to have some short-term pain with long-term gain.
Short-term pay for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain, yes, but we've got some long-term gain. Short-term spike for a long-term gain.
Some short-term pain for American consumers. We may have to deal with that in the short term.
Short-term and temporary.
Temporary, short-term pain.
It's going to suck in the short term.
Some short-term pain.
Short-term pain. We have to focus on.
These guys are journalists. They're just doing their job. They're just giving you the truth, the news. And, you know. Yeah. If you believe that, good for you. 2 weeks to flatten the curve. That's right, Timothy. That's right. Hold on. Let's keep going.
On the short term.
Short-term.
Short-term.
Short-term, short-term, and long-term.
Short-term blip.
Hopefully this is a short-term pain. Short-term is highly outweighed of the long-term benefits.
Some short-term pain for the long-term gain.
Short-term sacrifice
for a long-term
Guys,
gain.
I got it.
This is a short-term disruption for the long.
What'd you get? I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, and prices, gas prices in the immediate have been absolutely, going bonkers for the last couple days. And oh my God, where will it end? We don't know. From the Hill, Energy Secretary on rising gas prices. This is not a month's thing. Well, okay, that's not good too. When they're saying their talking points are like, "Don't worry, it'll be over in a couple of weeks. You'll be fine. It's just a little bump in the road. Sorry about your axle. Whoops." Energy Secretary Chris Wright on Sunday said the spike in gas prices will not stick. They're going to go even higher, arguing rising prices resulting from the war in Iran will not last for months. Look, you never know exactly the time frame of this, but I mean, they're just saying the same thing. In the worst case, this is a weeks, not a months thing. On Saturday, the national average for the gallon of gasoline rose 14 cents. Bullshit. Rose like $1 in California, like in 2 days. It went up like $1, like everywhere, marking an almost 2-year high as the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz's closure continues to spawn economic. I love they always, 14 cents. Get out of here. Inflation is only 8%. It's actually 150, idiots. But like, thanks, nice try. It spiked 14 cents. No, it actually spiked like 85 cents. You freaking liars. I mean, everybody can see what the prices are on the thing. Like, everybody can see what the prices are on the groceries, bro. Gas already $4.50 in Portland. Yeah, no, gas in LA is literally is $5. The cheapest you can find is like, if you find like $4.80, $4.90, that's like cheap. Maybe $4.60, like if you're really looking hard. But pretty much everywhere else, it's like $5.10, $5.15, $5.50. Like, it's $5, $5 gas. And again, if we wake up tomorrow and gas is $10 a gallon, that's the, in the immediate, like the blowback from the gas going up that high, that fast is going to really, you have these major financial institutions just teetering on the brink. You have, all kinds of financial debt instruments out there, creating like a massive debt bomb. You have the national debt. You have, we are really skating on thin ice, right? And if you have an energy spike like that, that is just the surest way to just, punch a hole right in the thing that doesn't have any support. Crude has fallen, what, $40 in the last 24 hours? Interesting. That's interesting. I mean, it spiked up. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Did Trump? I'm trying to see if Trump said something about the ending the war. Is this? I mean, is this why it's spiking up? Sorry, I'm just trying to see if there's something going on here. I can't seem to see anything, but Trump says the war with Iran is practically over. They have no Navy, no communications, no Air Force. The U.S. is far ahead of schedule that was set by 4 to 5 weeks. Is that what it is? That was 9 minutes ago. Is that what y'all are talking about? President Trump just said the war with Iran is pretty much complete. Okay. Well, I guess that's why. Hold on. What is the? Hold on. Is it XLE? State Street Energy Sector. Yeah, that is down. It is down. Down in the last few minutes. What were you getting at? What were you talking about? Derivatives, yeah. There's a lot of derivatives floating out there. Let's see. Oh, WTI crude. Hold on. Just checking it out. WTI. Crude oil cash. You're right. It's down. It's down a lot. You're right. So yeah, down from 112 a barrel to 82 a barrel. So yeah. They opened spiking up yesterday, but fallen quite a bit. I wonder. Who knows what? Who's zooming who? We'll see. We'll see if it holds. Denver is on. It's Iran supposedly striking back in of a. Oh, I see. All right. I'll look at that. I'll bite. Oh, I see. That is funny. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Hard to call it. That's a damn big spike, though, in the stock market. Since what? Noon 30 ish? No. Yeah. Noon 15. Just a swing trade, it will go back up, I'm sure. Peaked at 120. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. It seems a little, seems a little incongruous. It's hard to know. I mean, you got to know that the stock market is manipulated, of course, too. So I mean, you can only manipulate things so much, right? Like there are, I'm sure real prices going on in there, but that is an interesting spike. Again, I wouldn't bank anything on it. I would not. Myself and I wouldn't put a whole lot on it. Yeah, the crypto spike is already over. I don't know. It's interesting if you look at crypto. Sometimes it can be a little bit like a bit of a fortune teller. I have found sometimes crypto is doing something opposite, on the other end of the stock market, and you're like, what's going on there? And it's actually kind of just giving you a heads up about where things are about to go. Right. People were anticipating Black Monday. Well, it was Black Sunday. That's the thing is last 2 Sundays, it's spiked down real hard. And then Monday was like, oh no, maybe we'll retrace. But it was the Sunday spike that was of interest. And that happened yesterday, actually. Yep, that's true, John. Yep. I just find it interesting that metals too have kind of plateaued over the last, I don't know, month. Probably going to go up again. Okay. Another Friday 13th this month. Yeah, I know. Well, there were 2 last in the last. Weren't there 2 recently? Am I is my brain melting? There was one last month. And one last month and one this month. So 2 in a row, 2 Friday the 13th in a row. There was also one in June. But 2 in a row, what does that mean? What does that mean in the numerology crowd? Let's see, what else we got? I think we're pretty much at the end of the hour. This is interesting. Scheinbaum, Claudia Scheinbaum, president of Mexico, says we are removing all unpayable debts. So why we just drive the American consumer into the ground and rake everybody all over the coals, extract every last penny of wealth we can from them and leave them on the street to die. Other countries are actually helping their people. They're removing all unpayable debts. 5 million predatory mortgage loans issued during the neoliberal period to be restructured or eliminated. The credits were designed as a business for a few. That's interesting. She's implementing reforms to address 5 million unpayable housing credits. From pre-2018 schemes, borrowers often paid 2 times the original loan, yet owed more due to high interest design flaws. The government is deducting forgiving portions, sometimes to zero minimal balance, refinancing the rest at fair terms, ending unjust evictions. Announced via decrees for public workers, teachers, and ongoing programs. With examples of families now debt-free after overpaying. All right. That sounds nice. Thanks, Claudia Scheinbaum. You're trying to get Mexican citizenship. Yeah. I'd like to take a visit to Mexico myself. Maybe stay a while, you know what I mean? All right, guys, that does it for me. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. Y'all are super great. I really am going to try and do a music stream tomorrow. If you want to check it out on @kevinsandbloom on Instagram and YouTube, I'm going to do loops tomorrow at noon. Otherwise, I'll be back here with Black Bear News on Thursday at noon. Seems to be the magic hour. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thanks everybody who's supporting on all the platforms on a reoccurring basis. I know there's a bunch of people out there. And I get your monthly donations. Thank you. I appreciate it. Can't be at the loop. That's all good, Kate. You got to do what you got to do. All right, yeah, you guys. I'll see you next time. I appreciate you. Hold on. Until next time, beware the bear.